Did you know that almost 70% of people over 65 will need long-term care? Did you know that health insurance, Medicare, and disability do not cover the cost? What is your plan to protect your assets?
So it's surprising to me how many people think that their health insurance or their Medicare is going to pay for their long-term care needs, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. The truth is, it can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars if you need long-term care. So if you don't have a plan, you'll end up with Plan B. And what Plan B looks like is having to sell everything you've owned, everything you've worked your whole life to acquire.
Grace Harrington has been in the long-term care business since 2003. She is a broker and a long-term care specialist. Keeping up with the industry keeps her in the know about solutions and products.
As an elder care advisor, I work with families who are trying to make tough decisions, usually for a loved one. And it's not easy. It's a whole lot easier when they already have long-term care insurance in place. When I find families that are dealing with that situation, I love referring them to Grace because even though they may not be able to get it for their loved one who's already in trouble, they can get it for themselves and save their children the headaches that they're now going through.
Well, my husband and I purchased long-term care insurance when we were in our 40s because it made sense to us. We started working with Grace to purchase a plan for my parents who are still healthy enough to qualify, and it would give them some extended coverage.
So Camille and her sisters are looking to put a plan together for her parents. They're going to pay for it like a gift to their parents. They're fortunate because they're young enough and healthy enough to still qualify. And that way Camille and her sisters won't have to be the sole caregivers when their parents need care.
My mom was turning 80 years old, and Grace was working with my mom to get a long-term care policy in place, and she really went to a lot of trouble to get a really fantastic package that was available back then.
His mother was almost 80 years old, and honestly, she was not in good health. It was very difficult to find a carrier to represent her, but I did. I searched several carriers and found her a great plan that paid for her long-term care. And as it turned out, after 4 years, she needed the care.
And she lived in assisted living for another 18 months. After about 5 or 6 months, everything she had paid in was paid back. So it ended up being a huge savings.
So, everyone's family thinks that they can take care of them, and that's really a great plan. Unfortunately, and in reality, it's very, very difficult for a family to take care of someone. Long-term care means care after 90 days. Well, it's easy to take care of someone for 30, 60 days, but when it becomes years and years of care, it's very, very difficult for families.
One of the biggest misunderstandings about long-term care insurance is that it's just for the elderly. If you get hurt and you need long-term care, your health insurance, Medicare, and disability do not cover the costs of long-term care.
Long-term care insurance has only been around since the early 70s, and back then it was called nursing home insurance. Back then, that's where people went. That was the norm. Today, 40 years later, no one goes to a nursing home anymore. That's just the way it is. Unfortunately, this type of coverage still carries that stigma. People think it's for a nursing home, and they couldn't be more wrong. It's considered comprehensive. It will pay for home care, assisted living, or any type of facility.
So Grace came over to my house, and together we worked out a plan, a payment that worked within my budget, and now it's been 10 years. The benefits have compounded substantially, and I feel confident that if something bad should happen to me, like what happened to my parents, I'll be well taken care of.
I love referring to Grace because she takes the time with my clients. She understands that they've been through a tough situation, usually with their parents, and she takes the time to listen to and really figure out their needs, and that's important.
So I got into this business because in my family there's Alzheimer's. In my family there's ALS. In my family people live to be 103 years old. And I've seen the financial and the emotional devastation that happened when someone needed long-term care. We tried to be there for our family, but it was really, really difficult. There's a tremendous amount of information available on the internet to help you with your plan. It can be very confusing and very overwhelming. Just give me a call. We can talk about a good plan for you.